Pakistan delivers US peace plan to Iran. Israel flies into a rage, and it's caught on camera. Pakistan phone diplomacy magic versus Israel's angry outbursts over the phone. Oh, and Modi continues with his embarrassing appearances in Europe. Pakistan is back in Tehran. Pakistan's interior minister is there again. But who will be joining him? Now, the interior minister of Pakistan has spent more days in Tehran this week than in Islamabad. He was back in Tehran yesterday, but now Trump's favorite field marshal is expected to join him soon in Tehran. So an interior minister, or a home minister as the world calls him, is meant to look after internal security. But the Pakistani minister, Naqvi, is viewed as someone who might be close to Tehran, and so he's been entrusted with these sensitive communications. And the minister met with the president of Iran, Dr. Pezeshkian. And both the leaders, or the minister and the president, evaluated the process of diplomatic consultations. The Iranians, of course, appreciated the cooperation of the Pakistanis and the Pakistani government, but that's not all. A special mention was included, an emphasis on strengthening political coordination between the two countries. And that was the interesting part of the tweet, which was shared by the president of Iran. So, obviously, both Pakistan and Iran are making sure that this dreadful war imposed on the region by Israel and supported by the US can only be stopped by Pakistan's intervention, but not only stopped as soon as possible, but that these unprovoked attacks should never be repeated. But what is not obvious is spelled out clearly in this tweet. Let's do a recap for you. Pakistan opens land corridors, formalizes trade with Iran on both the border crossings, and talks about a new border crossing or new border opening with Iran. Then the Home Minister of Pakistan is sent to Tehran to have these discussions. Meanwhile, Field Marshal of Pakistan takes the Prime Minister of Pakistan to Quetta, the capital of Balochistan. And this is about a high-level military briefing. Naqvi then returns to Quetta instead of Islamabad, and after briefing them, hops back on the plane to Tehran. Now the field marshal is expected in Iran soon. And we are told that Pakistan is delivering the new US peace plan to Iran for consideration. But clearly, this is not only diplomacy at a dizzying pace. This is a new era of legalized, regularized trade between Pakistan and Iran, a new era of trust between Pakistan and Iran, and a top-level engagement. Never before has the top military man in Pakistan and the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard met like this. Not in our history. And don't forget, these are not photo ops. These are men with the real power to execute ideas. And this was what was missing in our past interactions. Now, back in 2013, the then Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif made his first speech to Parliament, and I noticed that he omitted Pak-Iran gas pipeline project from his speech. For many of us familiar with the Pak-Iran border communities, it's been frankly frustrating to see that this project has not been completed. On the Pakistani side only, it is still awaiting completion. And just before this conflict, Iran gave an indication that they would take this matter up in court. But then war happened, and Pakistan surprised not only the world, but Pakistanis also with their Iran policy. And of course, for us here in Pakistan, it is a pleasant surprise, as this bond between Pakistan and Iran has been ignored for so many years. There was mistrust on both sides. India's role in the infiltration and the espionage from these borders with Iran strained relationships between us. And in 2016, You'll remember Kulbhushan Yadav, an Indian raw agent, was caught in Balochistan, and Pakistan said that he had infiltrated from Iran. He was then charged with involvement in subversive activities in Karachi and Balochistan. So this new cooperation is really going to help not only Pakistan, but also Iran, because we'll be sharing intel, we'll be sharing perhaps strategy on how to defend the entire region. And let's hope that India and Afghanistan also learn to behave, because the whole region will, of course, benefit from it. And speaking of regional security, how did Pakistan destroy Israel without firing a single bullet? Now, it's being reported through several sources that Benjamin Netanyahu is fuming. Pakistan's peace plan disrupted his indiscriminate firing spree. A phone call apparently has taken place between Trump and Netanyahu, and that didn't go very well, it's being reported. Pakistan's new peace plan and a potential letter of intent between Iran and the US doesn't serve Israel's agenda. Trump said on camera that Israel will listen, but will Bibi do as he's told? It's a classic case of Frankenstein's monster. Well, maybe Trump can replace Bibi.
I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister, so maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister. I had a poll this morning, I'm 99%, so that's good. But
Trump says that he could become the next prime minister of Israel. He says he is 99% sure that he has a vote there. The problem is the rating in America for Trump has slipped 10 points down from last year. So he really needs to get out of this war, and fast. And Trump was in a very reconciliatory mood when speaking to reporters. He said he wasn't in any rush. Iran can take time to review the proposal. But while Trump is desperate for a diplomatic solution, Benjamin Netanyahu is unhappy, itching to resume the war. And his frustration is being echoed by the TV news channels in Israel and videos coming out of Israel. Spain called one of the videos monstrous, so bad that even Netanyahu has had to say this about the minister: "You went too far." What is it about?
Free, free Palestine!
שקט. טובה. ברוכים הבאים לישראל, אנחנו בעלי הבית. ככה צריך. ישראל חי. ישראל חי. כן.
זיכוי, כל המטרה כאן זה לראות שאין אנשים בתהליך.
לא להתרגש מהצעקות שלהם, לא להתרגש.
This is an Israeli minister video mocking bound aid workers, and that has sparked global outrage. What he did, of course, is downright disgusting. But then I'd be shocked if we were not used to seeing these sort of videos and this sort of disgusting news coming out of Israel. 438 workers. They were part of a flotilla off to Gaza with food and medicine. Israel stopped them, zip-tied them, forced them to their knees. These were not soldiers. These are just activists. This is Israel's National Security Minister, Ben-Gvir. Walked in, looked at the bound, kneeling people in front of him and said, "Welcome to Israel. We are the landlords." A woman shouted, "Free Palestine." An officer forced her head to the ground, and Ben-Gvir kept walking. Now, this is, of course, concerning, and the world has noticed it. What's worse is that Ben-Gvir filmed it all himself and then posted it online himself also. And that's the sort of bullying attitude of the Israelis. The world reacted. Italy, France, Canada, Netherlands, Spain, Ireland all summoned Israel's ambassador. And Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs released a formal statement also condemning Israel's illegal detention of these activists and the humiliation of zip tying these workers. It's, of course, a violation of international law as well, because the IDF stopped this Gaza aid flotilla in international waters off the coast of Cyprus. Dozens were detained. One of them is a Pakistani, and not any Pakistani. Saad Eidi is the grandson of Abdul Sattar Eidi, world-renowned philanthropist. He was on board. Now, the Eidi Foundation runs Pakistan's largest ambulance and relief network. And this global summit flotilla carried, like I said, almost 430 activists. And their mission was just to break the naval blockade, get food, medicine, baby formula into Gaza. The flotilla, as I said, was intercepted in international waters. And, of course, Israeli forces have violated international law. And it's not the first time that they've done that. They've tortured these activists before detaining them. And we knew about this, but then this disgusting video appeared as evidence. This is the second global summit flotilla seized this month. Now, before boarding, Saad posted a video on his social media platforms, and this is what he said in it.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं साद ईदी, पाकिस्तान का एक शहरी, और अगर आप ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब ये है कि या तो मुझे इंटरसेप्ट किया जा रहा है या फिर किया जा चुका है। और ये एक नॉन वायलेंट ह्यूमैनिटेरियन एड मिशन है, पीसफुल, जो कि हम एड गज़ा लेके जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि वहाँ पे पिछले 8 डेकेड से 8 दहाई से जो है जेनोसाइड हो रहा है। और इसी वजह से इस इलीगल ब्लॉकेड सीज को ख़त्म करने के लिए जो है ये मिशन है, और हम जा रहे हैं गज़ा। और अगर हमें किडनैप किया जाता है या अरेस्ट किया जाता है बाय IOF और IDF, तो पाकिस्तानी हुकूमत की ज़िम्मेदारी है कि वो उनसे कोऑर्डिनेशन में आए और मुझे जल्द से जल्द रिलीज़ कराने की कोशिश करें।
This is a peaceful, non-violent effort, and he then pleaded to the Pakistani government to free him and also said, "Free Palestine, free Gaza." Islamabad has repeatedly called to end the blockade and criticized Israel's Gaza operations. And the cringe fest continued on the Modi Europe trip. So initially, I saw the video of Modi and Meloni, and the images were straight out of a Bollywood film. It looked like a Bollywood film song, to be honest, but I restrained myself from commenting. Other social media users did not. And sure enough, very soon there were background scores added to the images of both Modi and Meloni, smiling, looking into the sunset, enjoying a cozy ride in the car. And then came the video of the toffee. And I thought, it's a bit silly, but maybe the candy from India is named after Meloni, but it was called Melody. My first reaction was, it must be an inside joke between the two, that perhaps Modi cannot pronounce words and names, so Meloni was perhaps mispronounced and he calls her Melody. Perhaps that's what happened when they first met. But later on, a young girl told me how this was actually recreating a video of these two from when they first met, and that this is Mel plus Modi, Melody. I was like, you mean like Brangelina? And she said, yes. I asked again, you mean they're being shipped? And she said, yes, as a couple. Again, she nodded. And I couldn't believe it. Now, I don't expect anything progressive from Modi, but I was more angry at Meloni. I thought she was this battle-hardened leader, rising above gender and discarding stereotypes that have limited women in the public domain. Instead of fighting for the way women are perceived negatively every time they're interacting with men, this leader of the free world is perpetuating misogyny. But then I was reminded that both Modi and Meloni are extreme right-wing leaders, and I was wrong to expect any progressive step from either one of them. And this is why we should be worried about this new rendezvous. The visit, which was framed as an innocent farming visit, but I can only foresee a hate factory being cultivated here with this engagement. And look at the special strategic partnership announced. Defense cooperation and defense manufacturing ecosystem and exploration of critical minerals. So Modi is perhaps running out of allies, shunned by the US, disliked by China. And he is clutching at straws here, turning up at every party, but not maintaining any meaningful friendship, which is perhaps what India is realizing too. Trending on social media, guess what? A new party has been launched in India, and it's a serious competitor. The CJP in India managed to clock 15.1 million followers in just 4 days. It's being called a Gen Z movement. And what does CJP stand for? The Cockroach Janta Party. Yes, you heard that right. So is it a joke or is it a secretly funded movement? Well, the chap behind started it as a joke, but the anger, the frustration of the Indian youth lent him so much support that now the CJP is scaring the BJP. Abhijit has been a part of the Aam Aadmi Party, so he has some political experience, but his website became an overnight success, and now their followers are almost double that of BJP. And why is that happening? Because this is reflecting the sentiments of the youth of India. They are particularly upset about favors handed off to the judiciary, and part of their manifesto, in fact, one of the key points of the manifesto is that no judge, no chief justice will be given a seat in the parliament after retirement. And this has happened because there's a sense of injustice or suspicion that the judiciary is getting favors and that there is a lack of trust in the judicial system. There are concerns about rising corruption, and above all, the youth in India are worried about unemployment and, of course, the sold-out media not reflecting what their aspirations and ambitions are. So, to sum it up, basically, Pakistan is leading the world not only in diplomacy, but also, I suppose, in behaving in a mature fashion. 3 countries, 3 approaches we cover today. Israel chose violence, ugliness. India chose theatrics, cheap theatrics at that. Pakistan chose peace. And peace is what the world is waiting for. What do you think? Which country do you think you would vote for?